Hello everybody, and this is the second part of me talking over these headphones, and in this part I will talk about this particular headband and how I did it in 3D code. So let's get started. So I'll start with this big sphere that I'll then start to cut out in parts, and that sphere is essentially my headband. Using different symmetry settings and dragging it using the pose tool down, and then using the cutoff to cut it out at the bottom. So using the oval cutoff just to cut out the part. Scaling it up and down. You can see I'm already making some backup layers, so I can go back and recreate some of these parts. This is where it also starts to get a bit slow on my machine. So you can see the poly count is like at 17 million. So yeah, that wasn't the most pleasant experience doing the headband. Right, so now I want to get all the stuff out and use the box height, so make that circle. And then, well, I hit pretty much everything and hit the circle. Then I'm doing this diagonal like support lines, so I'm trying to figure out a better angle to do it. So I wanted to use the scale tool to change the profile. Alright, so in the end I actually used the voxel height, so I hit the side and then unhit it from the front. See, I was trying to use the pose tool in and out, but it didn't work out in the way I wanted it to. And here I'm just trying to figure out a better shape, better design shape for these tips. And I do feel like here the resolution of this band is really pretty low. It doesn't really allow me a high fidelity detail. So I'm getting a backup layer activated. So changing the volume size. Here, I think I've just combined these two meshes together, so I'm about to combine these two. So I wanted to create a cylinder, so I need to create these joints for rotation of the cup, the ear cup. So I can pretty much rotate it in 2 axes, and it's also pretty bendy headband, which usually all the headphones are. So just stretch it. You can see a bit of a funny shading on the cylinder. It means that it's non-uniform volume, so I have to go then right click on the layer and make it uniform. getting out the backup layer. So this part was supposed to be kind of to screw the inside band, so I have like a double band, the outside hard casing of like aluminium, something really hard, and then inside soft plastic to essentially hold in place, being more comfortable. So I'm trying to figure out the design for this plate, and I was trying to go for the same pattern as it was on the ear cup, but eventually I thought I wanted to make it look pretty real, and it's also like trying to repeat the same pattern all over the place didn't really look that great, like in this case. So you will see what I did pretty soon. Also, I have to say on a headband, my 3D code crashed many times, like maybe 8 times. So make sure you save it. So again, I'm using the backup volumes to create this little cushion padding. I'm using one of those 3D printing materials which is really bright and pretty awesome. So now I'm trying to get the second band, which was on the inside, holding everything together. And that's stuff I saw on different headphones. Just trying to replicate it. By the way, it was really important to have an actual head in the scene. So I have a tutorial how I made this head, but you can also go to 3dscanstore.com and they have a free head if you need a good reference. They have a pretty awesome 3D scan of some kind of head, free for use. So I'm trying to thin out this surface. Usually I can do a cut and then I will smooth it a few times. That will smoothen of voxels, thins out the mesh quite a bit. So I think he might have crashed actually, because you might have seen that flash. Maybe it was a crash. Right, so I was cycling through backup layers, so I was looking for the layer to be suitable. Then I'm unhiding the plate, matching the material. So now I'm cycling through the set of the models that I have, and by the way, this is a free set I've made in Blender for anybody's use. I will leave the link in the description. You can download it on my Gumroad. Use it commercially or whatever, doesn't matter. So I want something to be looking really functional and maybe even counter design intuitive. A lot of things you will see, like when they start doing stuff in production and they have to cut through design, it was some kind of pretty design, but then they realized that we actually have to do this here to hold the design together and to be actually functional. So we'll do something that just slap it on top, if you can't really make super nice. So in this case, this was like that. I think it sold it quite a bit. All of my friends, when I sent this to them, thought I was like trying to show the headphones I bought on Amazon. So it was pretty successful in that case. I'm trying to get the joint right with all the bunch of cylinders. I just crashed there, so I did capture a crash on the recording. Auto-saving feature in 3D code is pretty good, but it can be also be buggy. It can also be pretty slow when an autosave happens. It might run for a few minutes. Just here I'm trying to match the sizing and everything. Also, I think 3D code is great about small imperfections. Again, if you're talking about a real item, minor things will be off. Like you can see the plate, well, that I was screwing at the top, it actually not fitting perfectly well, which pretty common in the real items, that something won't fit exactly super well, unless it's like an iPhone, a really high value prop. So here I'm just cutting through using the split tool to get that little rotator in, and changing the base just using the pose tool and dragging it down. I didn't think too much about the mechanicals inside, so I just know that green circle is essentially a part where you can rotate around. They're doing constant hide and hide, nothing fancy. Going to introduce an extra element. Again, we're using the backup layers. Trying different designs. This looks pretty good, but I'm not sure if I kept it. So I isolated that bit, and I just wanted to remove some extra pieces that were interfering with the design. And you isolate it by just clicking Alt-click on the layer. to get that little bit sorted out inside. Trying to make it lighter, so I'm doing a bunch of holes through all the sides. I think this bit took me longer than I should have done, but I felt it was way too solid. I wanted to lighten it up a little bit. And by the way, if I have little like bending things on my little small cuts on my mesh, I usually don't really care about it that much. If I smooth it, it will smooth out more or less. I'm not trying to get it super perfect. I mean, it's already like really good quality as it is. Not really, I can't really call it a sketch, but it's not like a CAD level model. So I'm using a fill tool, this dragging, was trying to drag a brush here, dragging a brush here, that will get a smoother fill, smoother connection. Doing a little bit of an inside. Right, so I had this little, I merged it all together, and now I just wanted to use the fill tool, fill brush, to do a smoother transition. I'm just cutting the extras out as well. Yeah, I'm kind of fixing stuff, we're combining, making denser. So now I'm making the inner bend, so I tried to do it before, kind of failed, so did a new iteration. This pose tool is pretty inconvenient in 3D code, and when I go to denser model, it gets pretty tough to move stuff around. So the idea that it would go inside the band, so you'll have some kind of extra room there. And I'm trying to make it really thin, right? Here I had an idea to split these guys out, so I would then, actually what I was doing, I rotated that camera and I was splitting that with black bands from the opposite side using the split tool. So now I created these little rivets, you would say, on the inside. here I think I'm trying to fix a part of the mesh. This is also where it starts to freeze out pretty badly. I think I found a little artifact on the band, so I had to go back and recover one of the backup layers, then reattach it, and it's a pretty tedious process. And like left side is not symmetrical to the right side, so then I will need to use a symmetrical copy to transfer the left side to the right side. Changing the proportions, so it's a bit more space between the band and the head. Now I'm doing that opening for the inner band to get in. Did that little inner green edge. I would say it's more like part of texturing, really. Managing the size of the object, scaling it. I did symmetry copy, but you can see in the middle it did something that I didn't want to. I did a symmetry copy across 2 axes. You only need 1. Now I'm starting to shift this stuff a little bit. So I try to have this hierarchy pretty well sorted out. I didn't really record the like renaming of the layers because it just doesn't make sense to record that. But once you have it all properly named, it's really easy to move it around, rotate, and scale. There was a challenge here that if I want to just show the headphones without the head, I actually need to bend them, because the first thing you do with the headphones, you unbend them, put them on the head, so it will be weird to show the headphones being in unbent condition. So I decided to do like proxy, turning this stuff to proxies, so it will speed up stuff. So I'm turning it to proxy, and then I'm using the like posing tool. And I'm using through all volumes, so I'm picking everything up. And you can see here something's going on pretty weird. It starts, my symmetry is off, starts to jump, everything starts to jump around in a really weird way. Like that. not even sure how to fix it. Let's take a look. Alright, so here magically kinda it stopped being so annoying. Okay, I feel like I stopped doing it across all the volumes. I started only doing it across one volume. Just manually placing those guys back in the position. Had to change the background from black to gray because it just was really hard to see anything. Also with these proxies, you're not always sure if it's going to look okay when you unproxy it. So here I kind of did a super heavy proxy, like, you know, I can see how it's all really blocky. So that wasn't the ideal way to do it. You can see here now, I did the unproxy and it was all screwed all pretty badly. So the proxy was like 8x proxy. It was like decimating it really way too much. So now this one is maybe like 4x or 3x proxy. So it's not as destructive as the stuff I was using before. So now I actually have to redo the whole process again. I think it's good to show that, you know, that's like the working process in 3D code. Yeah, like if you're trying to get some kind of clean model, you go through this iteration process. It just, yeah, it's time consuming. This stage incredibly annoying, really slow. But yeah, that's what it is. And I actually can see on my stack of layers got really clean. I've pretty much deleted all the layers that I didn't want to use. All my backup layers are now gone just because it make the scene running faster. And the thing is that I still have my backup layers in the previous 3D code file, so if something happens, I can pull it. By the way, you can see now I unproxied this band. I still have issues and artifacts. Some of those artifacts I can fix by the symmetry, because if the right side has artifacts but the left side doesn't have artifacts, then, you know, it's kind of manageable. I can fix that. Just doing a symmetry copy. You can see here it's like a bunch of stuff. But if I didn't turn this to proxy and try to bend like 10 million triangle mesh, it just wasn't happening. Also, I don't know, but randomly my posing sometimes looks gray, sometimes it's colorful. I just have no idea why. Some people ask me, how did you make it all gray, like posing gradient, and I just don't know. It happened. Now I need to place those guys back in the place. Oh, now I remember how tedious all this was. There's a lot because of this bending. I knew it would have been hard, and to be honest, it was a bit of a challenge. I wanted to see how hard it's going to be to bend the big mesh in place. And it proved to be kind of as hard and tedious as I expected it to be, even probably more so. Just placing those rivets in place. here it's pretty much done. I'll only just rotate some of these ear cups. I'm just doing this little design, last design tweaks. Wanted to add a pattern on the inside of the ear cup. Just felt like it would be cool. So did a symmetry instance, which kind of didn't happen across, but anyway, I just grabbed it around. Little cut to add more detail. So I did a bunch of test runners inside 3D code. In the end, I rendered it on KeyShot and don't really cover KeyShot process in this case. It's really pretty simple there, I'm just using standard library materials from KeyShot and assigning it there. 3D code got some new rendering abilities, but I haven't really got efficient with them. So yeah, I spent maybe like another hour or two inside KeyShot trying to get a bit more realistic look, and this is what I ended up with. Well, thank you all for watching, and see you in the next coming videos.